Hello, everyone, and welcome to this matchup between the Baguettes and Citrix. This is Bosuke here, bringing you all the action alongside my lovely co-commentator, Tom D53. Tom, say hi to the cameras.
Hello.
And our wonderful producer in Insanity, among other fine fellows here. It's going to be a 10v10 for this particular match, the first time TB and Citrix are playing a 10v10 in this particular tournament. As listed here, limits are 1 Archer, Assassin, Engineer, Mage, Necro, Pyro, and Scout, and 2 of Chemist, Elf, Medic, and Ninja. Especially notable is the 2 Ninja limit. Means there's a bit less flexibility in that role, and then limits of 3 Heavies and 3 Soldiers, which are pretty workable for most teams. We're getting right into the action here as there was some delay on the way in, but we've got some interesting rosters from both teams, so I think worth pointing those out before we get started here. Notably, Hayes in here for TB. I believe this is going to be their first appearance in the tournament, as Hayes did not come in to play defensive medic in their previous match, instead ceding the role to Azel. Already, we do see an offense push here from the side of Citrix. See Hobo and Bub are on their way in, but there is a steal on the other side from Recovs. Recovs presumably trying to get the Ninja Cap early on and not pulling it off. Did manage to work against Olympus, but no dice here. Also on TV's offense are Pavlik on Heavy and Exedra on Elf. Exedra already falling pretty low, will drop to Try, and Avedis and Try have also singled out Pavlik here, who's now trying to make a mad dash over to the flag room. Don't think it's going to work out, as Ring Wraither's waiting there on the flagpole. Also worth noting here, with Ring Wraither and the flag, no flag room medic. It's a 10v10 setup, and they've opted not to provide Ring Wraither with a medic here, which is going to allow Tireless to steal on Ninja. He's already pretty low, but he did get regen for the push, and I think he's going to be able to pass here. But no, College Degree gets in the way on Scout, and now Flays has the important steal on the other side. Flays does go down, though, to Chewy, catching up, and although the flagpole was abandoned by the Pyro, Tireless is waiting there on Ninja to prevent any backups. So, 10v10, definitely a smaller size. We could see some very interesting changes to strategy here, as it makes individual skill a bit more important in the grand scheme of things, and individual outplays that much more effective. We do have Bub in red side flag room here. Bub going to go in for a steal, and actually manages to pull it off as Chewy gets distracted on the other side by the Heavy. He's going out towards spawn, but swapped back by Recovs, and caught on the exit by Chickd. So far, Citrix getting some decent steals. Good distraction there from the Heavy on offense, but Bub not able to make it out with limited support.
So Flays' previous steal though, he did make it out out the left side tunnel, but he got slowed down by the assassin. He had to block the assassin, which allowed Chewy to take the sponge to mid, the sponge over the side, and then catch up with him to cut him off at the dome. So it was quite unfortunate there. Chickd was able to slow him down, and that allowed Chewy to get the frenzy off.
Yep. Citrix's offense has already been split up a fair amount here, and looks like Z-Hobo is being comboed out by Chickd and Seago, already falling quite low. Should be a dead push here for Citrix, as TB are now establishing a little more control. Also do want to point out, Hayes not on the defensive medic. She is in fact playing this roaming soldier role, and Recovs is occasionally coming back around on medic to heal the Pyro before going back to his roaming role. So neither team really valuing the flag room medic in the 10v10. I think an understandable decision, as it costs you a lot of damage and one player who could be roaming, but also does mean that the Pyros are more vulnerable in the 1v1 matchup. Flays notably getting out here against Chewy. Chewy not being able to stop too many of these one-on-one steals so far, and there is a lot of support actually for Flays. He does have the medic there, does have Bub there on Soldier as well, but has now been isolated by TV's roaming. Looks like Recovs and Tireless are getting a lot of damage in. Chewy gets a frenzy off as well and gets the kill. Pavlik has a steal on the other side. He hasn't made it out of the flag room just yet, but now is heading towards spawn, isolated by 2 ninjas, and is on low health. He should go down here, but TB may have backup options as the flag was vacated. Exedra going for the ninja steal, but Avedis comes back just in time to stop it. Good heads-up play there from Avedis, doing his best to keep the game level.
Interesting from Kalig there. So whilst TB was trying to push across the map, Kalig was isolated by the scout and death pact, and he had to take a bit of a weird route to the flag room. But he did eventually manage to actually make it in and get the restore on Pab, I believe, which was able to allow him to last a lot longer than he maybe otherwise could. So it was quite good to see him stay alive there, and perhaps not great from DX to allow him to stay alive. when he perhaps should have gone down since he was death tagged.
Yeah, Calig definitely slotting in well to this role on medic offense for TB. He's not always been the player, Lara having been the longtime medic offense main for TB. Speaking of longtime TB players, Pavlik may not be one of them, but he did have a steal there. Ringwraither does get the kill and immediately respawn as he was left on 3 hearts at the end of that exchange. Again, the pyro downtime on this map means ninja steals are particularly impactful if you can get them. Ronger and Pavlik are now trying to cross the map together here. They're being stalked by multiple members of the Citrix roaming, but that also means that any focus that goes onto this duo is not going on to some of the other capping threats, like Exedra. Exedra and Calig trying to make their way in through the other entrance, but Calig actually gets dropped by Baguettes on the way in. Exedra now death tagged and should go down as well, as the push on the opposite side was picked up well by Citrix and handled. We do have Tireless roaming up here looking for a ninja steal. Ringwraither trying to clear the flag, and Tree actually manages to catch out Tireless as the invis ends, meaning that his pyro is safe to fight another day.
It's the second time I've seen Tireless push up now. He pushed up in the previous push, which facilitated the steal from Pavlik as the pyro was hit away. So it's good to see the TB ninjas pushing up like they normally do to support the offense, especially in the 10v10.
Yeah, no, it's not something that Tireless is known for quite as much as other players on that roster. Rikos and Azel are some of the main culprits, or have been in the past. But main culprits for steals so far this game for TB. Pavlik is definitely one of them, although he tries to pass to Tireless there. Unfortunately, Tireless gets blocked by, I believe, one of the roaming players from Citrix there. So the ninja steal doesn't make it out. Interesting to note as well, though, that both he and Exedra were there looking for the ninja play following the steal. This is something that TB is really committing to. Now, we are going to see, again, one more push here as Calig and Ronger try to make their way across the map. They're being pincered right now by multiple members of Citrix, but Wolfie goes in and doesn't quite manage to get as much value as he might have been looking for onto Calig. Now Yami is going to be, Yami or Mashiro is going to be looking for another opportunity here for the assassinate. The medic does in fact go down. I'm not sure exactly what, but Mashiro does get the follow-up kill very nicely onto the chemist. Pavlik has now been isolated inside the flag room and will go down. Now, on the other side of things here, we're going to pay a bit of attention to Citrix offense, who are currently resetting. They've spotted out Rikos, who tries to go for a swap near their spawn, but doesn't manage to pull it off. Spotted out by Krizzle there, I believe, initially. Bub is going to be crossing over top mid. The medic is also separated from their team. And looks like Krizzle is going to run into some trouble here from Rikos. The death tag is off, but Rikos will actually drop to Krizzle there in the one-on-one matchup. Still a lot of damage onto the medic, though. It's going to make it very difficult for Krizzle to get in. See, Hobo and Flaze are now trying to get over to the flag, but Chewy finishes both of them off with a very nice frenzy. Looks like Baguettes might be attempting a ninja steal here, or at the very least a clear. Chewy is ISO'd on the flag, but Chickdee does come out to help, come back to help just in time, and the threat has been handled. Both teams looking for these chances. Very good to see that Citrix and TB are largely on the same page. Both the defenses understanding the ninja threat, both the offenses understanding that there are potential opportunities here between these pushes. Now we are going to have a steal here from Pavlik on the other side. Again, getting out a fair amount with some of these steals, but not out of the flag room just yet. Death tag is off onto Pavlik, and Ronger is actually clearing a fair amount of the Citrix roaming away, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Actually, a very nice kill there from College Degree, and the recovery in turn after the last member of TB's offense dies.
College has been having a pretty consistent impact on Scout. Tylus does go for the ninja steal there, but slightly mistimes it, doesn't actually make it out with the flag. But yeah, the death tags and swaps from College have definitely been impactful so far, and I think they have prevented quite a few steals.
Now we do have a steal from Hobo there, but he's in ahead of the rest of his offense and will be finished off. Chickdee and Rikos notably playing Scout and Assassin, both roles together, with just the one ninja, Tireless, consistently staying on the role for TB, although it is worth noting as well that Exedra often swaps to Ninja once he dies on offense. Speaking of Exedra, he's crossing the map here on Necro, not currently with any teammates, but an interesting decision here. I think a decision probably prompted by the fact that we're seeing a lot of squishy roaming classes from Citrix. Flaze is out pretty far here, so far untouched, but Chewy respawns to try and get in the way. Chick D gets a very nice assassin. He was really the last person in front of Flaze.
I bet it's Ninja. He's outside. He's made it to the bridge. He won't get the pass. He gets the pass.
And it's over to Flaze on Chemist. Now, he is still in danger here because there are multiple players catching up here from TB. Tireless staying alive for a very long time. Chick D coming around the corner, but does not get the assassinate.
Nice.
Recov's likely not going to get the spawn swap here as he's already taken a lot of damage. Still going to try for it though, but does not manage to get it off. Flaze ran in front of a massive group of TB players there. So he's lucky to be alive in one sense, and Pavlik does have a steal on the other side. This is a soldier. He does have a lot of support in the flag room because his team is roamed up. But so far, still a very dangerous situation here. Flaze is in his own team's flag room, taken down by Tireless, though. Not enough support there for him, and Citrix may have wasted one of the best chances they'll get. Now TB is on the upper foot. TB trying to make it out with Pavlik here on Soldier. He does have support from a Necro and a Chemist, but no medic immediately with him. Kalig rather has made his way back over, but he's now going to be isolated by Z-Hobo and Bub, and very nice assassinate from Yami to end the threat.
Very
Attention
good.
Pulled to the players behind him, and Yami taking advantage there.
So we're already 10 minutes in, and actually this is looking really evenly matched. TB was perhaps a little more organised there, but very surprised assassinate from Yami on Assassin, obviously. That was pretty nice.
Yeah, Kalig did take Yami there, with actually getting Yami with the egg, but the assassin is right back, doesn't get value again, and these squishy roaming classes might have a little bit of harder time now with Exedra pocketing some of the teammates. However, Tri has now managed to isolate the Necro in a heavy versus Necro matchup, and Exedra should go down at the very least. Still a lot of TB members alive in the flag room. Tireless attempts to clear Ring Wraither, but does not manage to do so, and the returning players from Citrix are able to end the threat. Definitely interesting to see this tankier look from TB's offense. Could be a sign of good things to come here, as College Degree attempts and whiffs, unfortunately, on Scout Swap.
You could say that the main capping threat for TB would be the Soldier now. So if they can just like ensure that the Soldier goes down, then a lot of the other classes like the Chemist, because Chemist you can drop Chemist quite easily now. We do see Flaze getting out, kind of consistently as Chemist, but the Soldier's the one you want to be going for, and TB is only running one Soldier. So I think DX should maybe focus Pab.
Mm-hmm. Since that one recovery happened, I've seen Yami go down multiple times to this group of players. The Chemist, Necro, and Medic, all very difficult to get assassinates on. So even the distractions provided by the rest of Citrix roaming aren't quite doing enough, but the rest of the team's damage, on the other hand, is getting these kills over time. Flaze did get out fairly far on the side, but didn't really make it that far out of the flag room, so no real threat there to TB, but it is interesting to see Citrix get these consistent steals. I'm sure it's in part because we're playing a 10v10 format here, and it is a little more difficult to guarantee that you don't get out of the flag room when the Pyro doesn't have a medic on either side, but even so, Citrix getting some good chances here already. I think looking a little more threatening than they did at the start of their game against Delta Force. Now, we do see Pavlik get boosted relatively far here, but he tries to juke Ring Wraither by going back, and has actually lost a little bit of tempo here. He is going to have Exedra there to help support him, and is out now onto the roof, but Tri is chasing him, trying to get in the way, and does get the kill. Exedra now trying to pick a fight with a heavy. That's not going to go very well, but Wronger, while everyone else is distracted, is going for the flag. I think he's going to get there before the Pyro. Yami is right there, though, to clean things up with the Assassinate. And some very clutch recoveries there from the Assassin so far.
Good target priority from Recubs there. He obviously went for the medic at the start and got her down to 2 stake. And then after Pabs stole the flag, he swapped the medic away and got the death flag on the medic again and killed the medic before they were able to get the restore. And then got another death flag on Pab. So, I would say Recubs kind of got that for TB there.
Yeah, Tireless did get out his ninja there, and Tri has recovered, but there was a big push from Citrix on the other side. Bub is now trying to make his way out towards mid, but there are a lot of players in front of him. He did wait for the medic, and that resulted in the rest of his support dropping to different fights, but the medic is back across the map, Krizzle has gotten a heal off onto Bub here, and although there is a lot of TB roaming, there is also support here to keep Bub alive. Tireless is aggro-pearling here, and now Chewy is trying to get the drop. Chickty actually gets a very nice assassinate, and Pavlik's steal on the other side is now the most threatening in the game. Avedis does get a ninja steal here, which is going out towards the middle of the map. He's on top mid and gets the pass off to Bub. Very nice priority there. The soldier getting the pickup. Chickty is threatening again, but on the other side of things, Pavlik is trying to find a pass. He does have Kalig supporting him on medic, but there is only the chemist beyond that. A lot of Citrix roaming here, putting pressure onto the heavy. The pyro there, Chewy actually clearing out some of Citrix's roaming threat that would stop Pab from crossing the map otherwise, but it is still a heavy. He is going to have a very hard time getting past all of the different ninjas coming back and slowing him with different threats like the assassin potentially catching up. Heavy is always going to have a very hard time crossing the map, but the support from TB is just too good so far. It feels like the entire team is there pocket-getting Pavlik and keeping him alive.
Wolfie Archer top mid. Ooh, that was very close. Wolfie swapped to Archer and played on the dome top mid, and it was just a second or two too late for a headshot there.
Yeah, that's the one thing in terms of supporting Pavlik that TB weren't really doing. They weren't really roaming out and finding the assassins and archers as they crossed the map, and Wolfie nearly got a very good chance there. But we are in a stalemate situation. Wolfie actually getting headshots in the general vicinity of the flag holder, forcing Pab back out into the open here, where he is a little more exposed, but not necessarily to Wolfie on this archer. Seago now finding out the archer. I think he's going to clean this up quite nicely, and Wolfie does in fact go down. So we are in a stalemate scenario. Pab is on the tankier class here, the heavy, but he does have less mobility than Bub, which Bub may be able to use to survive some of this pressure.
Interesting point is that PM5 is here for the stalemates, and he's probably known as one of the best stalemate archers, so it'll be interesting to see whether he gets the shot here.
Yeah, definitely able to survive a few waves of roaming as well. He handles the ninja matchup pretty well, and will be getting buffs here from Rongar on the way out of spawn. So they're definitely investing in this archer to cross the map and get some value. BM5, as noted, is a pretty strong archer, I think it's fair to say. Definitely very highly rated in the community, and is going to be able to make it into this flag room unnoticed. No one has picked him up yet, and Bub is now in his crosshairs. He's moved just out of the way, but that will open him up to attempts from Recovs around spawn. Recovs, unfortunately, going to be found out and killed, but BM5 is still very much alive. Ninjas not actually making their way over to the archer yet and just allowing this man to free fire. Flaze is going to make his way over, drop a couple potions on BM5 before the fight. BM5 trying to bow spam him, but doesn't quite manage to work out. Needed a little more charge on those shots to really get the value from punch one. So already, though, the fact that BM5 has been able to cross the map without too much pressure on him is a bad sign for Citrix. They did struggle to pick up some players, especially the scout on Delta Force Lou, crossing the map during stalemates, and that resulted in a couple recoveries, or at least the one recovery that could have been prevented. So it'll be interesting to see if Citrix is able to improve on that and not fall into some of the same traps. Exedra has now made his way over to Bub here, but the lone heavy isn't all that much of a threat outside of the amount of pressure he's eating from the rest of the players here. He does get taken down. Looks like we are seeing some of the players here from Citrix move a little closer to the flag room, and I wonder if that'll open up that group to significantly more threats here. Rongar is trying to make his way over on Soldier. Exedra is back on heavy, but I don't see BM5 anywhere yet. There he is, making his way back over to the flag room. He's got a much better angle this time, but Bub is aware of the threat and tries to move out of the way. Exedra is hitting him back towards the archer, getting a lot of damage off, actually, and now Rico's over there. The knockback is enough to send Bub towards that shot, and BM5 gets a very nice kill. Good team play there by the Baguettes, and they're able to get the lead with just 2 minutes left in the game. BM5, if that wasn't enough, BM, able to get the steal on Archer before being taken down. And there is going to be a backup ninja attempt here. Exedra clearing Ring Wraither out of the way and getting the steal. He is on very low health, though, and likely will not make it too far out. We do see a steal on the other side from Bub. Bub actually getting the pass from Baguettes. He's not out quite that far, though, and there is a lot of TB pressure on him. I think they're going to catch him on this tunnel and kill him as the medic is killed elsewhere. Oba going to get another steal in the flag room, but this Heavy is going to have a really hard time going past all of the different threats.
Baguettes is ready for backup steal here. Yeah, Baguettes is going to get the backup steal now, and he's going left side, spawn side.
Yeah, going the other side, actually, the ninjas weren't really in position. He's going to make it all the way over to spawn. He might just go for the flat.
He's gonna.
Yeah, he passes the try. He's just way ahead of the ninjas.
Nothing's there to stop him. Yeah, that's a cap.
Yeah, so we're actually going to tie this up with 1 minute left. Very clutch play from Baguettes throughout. But now Pavlik has a steal going the far side. Blaze did get a steal on the other side and manages to pass it over to Bub. Pavlik will likely go down here. The frenzy goes off, but Kalig is able to heal it away. So Pavlik is given a second life, essentially, heading out to the mid. They do need to slow him because he has enough time to cap here, but it's going to be very hard for the Heavy to get past. Will actually go down to all the damage, and I think with only 20 seconds left, the only thing that could happen here is a ninja steal from TV. Exeter is going down middle here. He does pearl into a wall. He's on low health. I think this could be a recovery here, and in fact, it is Crystal picking up the flag and ending TV's last realistic threat. We're going to wrap up map 1 tied 1-1 after a clutch Citrix comeback, despite their losing the stalemate with only 2 minutes left in the game.
That was way closer than I was expecting.
Yeah, no kidding. TB looked so dominant last week against Olympus. Maybe the format is throwing them off a bit, but Citrix definitely looked pretty strong here, I think it's fair to say. Now, we are going to see a pause here from TB, apparently, as they're going to be presumably making some changes for this map. At the very least, we should expect to see BM5 in long term because Lowrise is pretty strong for Archer here. It'll be interesting to see if Citrix make any changes on their side, if they're going to put an Archer in, or if they're going to move Wolfie over to that role. Looks like we might see Valcon come in based on what Citrix is saying in chat.
And apparently that's TV's 4th map that they've dropped, or not a win, sorry. So yeah, they've now lost 2 maps and tied 2 maps as a team, TV.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting to see CX be the team that takes that from them. Well played to... They didn't take the map, but they drew it, so... I'm trying to see if I can see anything interesting in the stats, but...
Well, highest damage total in the game by a good measure was Baguettes, 26 and 74 on the Ninja, and additionally 3,700 damage dealt on that Airlock map. Second highest in the game was Tireless at 3,300, and the highest non-Ninja player was Seago, going 25 and 4 on both defense and dealing 3,200 damage. Actually, a pretty close total to the Ninjas. Probably helped a bit by Airlock, and definitely statistically a bit of a stronger showing than what Tri got, which was 27 and 8 and 2,600 damage. But overall, definitely strong performances on both sides.
Yeah, and I've certainly seen CX pick Lowrise before as like their choice, and it just so happens to be that Lowrise is, the map this week, so perhaps this will favour them, and it'll be really interesting to see what difference that makes. Pudgy's been subbed in as well as Valakon, and obviously Valakon on the Archer will have a big impact. We all know how good he is, and Ubao as well.
Yeah, Ubao, definitely a very strong offense player here for the side of Citrix. That does mean that Flaze is out, and additionally, College Degree has subbed out as well after what was a very strong Map 1 performance. It'll be interesting to see how these adjustments really shake things up here, as I think the loss of College Degree and the addition of Pudgy means that Crystal is probably transitioning to a bulk defense role here.
Perhaps, yes. It is disappointing to see College go after his performance on Scout last game, but, it's all done for a reason. We'll see why. Perhaps they've got, a different strategy here, and then maybe they don't want to run the Scout. Yeah.
Well, the last Lowrise we played ended in about 4 minutes, so we'll see if either team can wrap things up here a little quicker. Obviously, after that exhausting brawl on map 1. We'll be interested to see how Lowrise plays out. Could be a lot more open, could be just as deadlocked. And TB will have to show something a little more here to really get past Citrix and prove that they are the #1 team in the tournament.
Tyler's went straight for the Ninja Steel, like we do see quite commonly nowadays, but didn't manage to get it. Avettis doing the same thing as well, but both teams are aware of it and able to shut it down.
Yeah. Hayes playing in a very defensive position here, right alongside Chewy, not actually roaming out all that far, as the rest of TB is more focused on that role. BM5 playing in a low ground position here, pretty straightforward, and interestingly, Valakon trying to roam up and control middle here, getting some shots onto Rongerbox as he tries to cross through lower. In fact, Kalig and Ronger are crossing lower together. Kalig able to pick up on the assassin, but was dropped extremely low. I believe he might be without stake entirely. No, has 2 stakes left. But the Chemist and Medic are taking a lot of pressure here. That does mean that Pavlik hasn't been pressured nearly as much and will be able to get out with the steal. Webb is in place to hold him there, and the Assassinate cleans him up, but already a strong look there from TB's offense. Ronger and Kalig were baiting so much damage, and the soldiers got in almost untouched.
Perfect opportunity for an elf there on some of those steals, for an elf to come in the back stairway and nab the flag and just run straight up out of that bottom right exit. Bottom left, sorry.
Yeah, we do see Rikov's roaming up pretty far, actually looking to duel Vala, but gets taken off the map by the punch 1 shot. Not getting all that much value there, and that may provide an opportunity for Citrix on the way. And Krizzle notably is on soldier offense, so the prediction of going on both defense was actually incorrect. We'll be looking for a steal here, but is sussed out by Chewy. Bub, however, gets the steal as Chewy is focused on the soldier counterpart. However, Rekov's able to make it right back over. The death tag was already down onto Bub and is able to clean up. Pab out very far, though, already outside of the flag building, and will pass to the Ninja, who pearled before the pickup. And that's going to be what looks like a very easy capture here for TB. Very nice team coordination there, and I think Ronger's just going to walk it in at this rate. The Assassin is closing in, but I don't think they're going to be there anywhere near soon enough. Wolfie tries to knock Ronger down, but that's going to be a quick first Ninja capture for the Baguettes. Very good coordination there.
That was perfect. You couldn't have really done that any better. And I really like the pass off to like a bulky class on their side of the map as well, rather than just the Ninja going straight for the flag, because it's quite predictable.
Has the Ninja steal here. He's going out towards the middle of the map. Will have a Ninja relay recipient, but actually just goes straight for the other side, and I think we're actually going to be back to a tie here as Ring Wraither walks it in.
Wow.
Very nice route from Avettis. TB's Ninjas just were not in position.
That was great from Wolfie. So Wolfie was waiting like on the building that Avettis pearled to, and was able to like use eggs to hit away the offenders on TB's side, which allowed Avettis to get away unscathed, and that was probably what made it there. So instead of passing, Wolfie just prevented the bulk from managing to get any hits on Avettis there. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. Is it Avettis or Avitis?
Beats me, at the very least. I certainly don't speak German, but with the situation here in mind, I think it's actually pretty notable that both Ninja Caps have been taken off the table so early, with each team getting 1 capture aside. With that in mind, both teams are going to have to rely on their more honest offenses, if you will, to get value here, as Exeter has been sussed out by Try and the Ninja. Try now turning around to fight Rongerbox. Rongerbox will go down, and I think TB's offense is going to reset here. On the other side of things, we do see Rekov's actually roaming up really far here, trying to get swaps. The M5 also getting shots through the middle of the map and takes out the Ninja pressuring him. So BM5 just creating chaos here for Citrix's offense. Vala has not been able to clear him out of the way just yet. Looks like the duel is now taking place between the archers. It'll be interesting to see if Vala is able to clean this up quite nicely, but BM5, who is only on 3 hearts, still is causing chaos here.
I'm not quite sure if that was comms or if it was just Ringwather being really smart on the pyro there. You know, when Rico pushed up, Ringwather was able to dodge the swap to prevent him from getting swapped away from the flag. It was really perfect. I'm not sure whether it was comms or him just noticing, but something to admire there.
Big push from TB here. They did get 3 people in, but unfortunately, Xedra's routing left a little bit to be desired there, and the medic was taken out by Baguettes in the meantime. Now, Pudgy actually pressuring BM5 and getting the kill, as the archer had fallen quite low there. I think he actually hadn't reset up until that point, but now Pudgy is being chased by Pavlik. Pavlik getting webbed there and having to leave the medic alone, but probably has called out her position if he is in comms. Tireless actually getting 2 kills there onto the offense, and now Pudgy has been sussed out by Chickd, will be resetting as the rest of the offense is dead anyways, and Valakon is under pressure from Rikovs at mid. Will be able to survive it and perhaps get some more value on offense here, as Calig is being hounded by Wolfie and was dropped quite low. But we should see a ninja attempt here from TB in terms of clearing at the very least, as Tireless was given regen and on offense there. We'll now try and clear the flagpole again. Obviously cannot go for a ninja steal, and will go down there as now he might be a little late to pressure the offense from Citrix after that attempt. So we are actually going to see Bub here on the side of Citrix cross over into the flag room. He's been left relatively untouched and has snuck over to the flag area without too much pressure on him. Now staring down Chewy in a 1v1, but the soldier comes in the back entrance. Chewy was aware of that, but again, Bub gets the steal. He wasn't pressured all that much beforehand, and if Pudgy's able to get the heal here, even the death tag might not be enough to bring him down. He did get regen, but no restore, and Chickd actually just comes in with the assassinate and cleans things up. I've noticed that Chewy is very aware of these soldiers behind him, and perhaps the decision he's making is to allow the ninjas to deal with the soldier stealing from the front while he takes the soldier coming in from behind. It's an interesting approach and definitely a risky one, but with TB's roaming, you can certainly trust them a bit.
It's a bit interesting seeing them not running Elf here, because Elf is really good on this map, let alone, you know, in a 10v10. Where there's less ninjas to go against with these limits, and you know, especially on Lowrise, because you can wait in this top corridor, and then at the right opportunity, wind straight across to the flag post and straight out the bottom left corner of the flag. So it's interesting to see neither of the teams actually running an elf. It could be due to the ninjas, you know, being good at pressuring the elf, but I don't think they've actually ever tried it yet. So it'd be something I'd like to see.
All of TB's roaming did go down there briefly, but Pudgy was left without stake, and Chickd has sussed her out. I think this is going to be a pretty quick cleanup here, especially now that Rikovs has joined the scout, on the scout, rather. And Citrix should likely be resetting here, but Yubao is in separate from the rest of his team and will reset, actually, realizing that fact.
I think they now need to, like, it was a good point about with the ninja steals where you can't do them anymore. I think they now need to hit the pyro.
Swapping the pyro away, actually getting a steal here, going out to the top. I think he might have a teammate on the way up to pass to. In fact, Xedra is going there. Ninjas are trying to catch up though, and although Xedra does pick up the flag after Rikovs is killed by Tri, he's going to take a lot of damage here on the way out. I think he will just go down, but very cool attempt there. Citrix did react quickly, and that likely saved a capture, but very cool play as well from Rikovs, swapping the exposed pyro away to get a steal and attempt to pass to a teammate.
Also, that was really quite interesting. The swap that he got off just before he died meant that the flag dropped in a different place than where the bulk was expecting, and therefore Xedra managed to pick it up, but obviously he then got trapped.
Yeah. Bub going out top mid, actually gotten out pretty far. He doesn't have support there with him yet, but Pudgy is trying to catch up. I don't think he's going to make it quite far enough, but Valakon actually was supporting there and clearing the roaming. Now Valakon in a duel with BM5 in the high ground position. He's actually going to opt to not take the duel here and focus on clearing out some of TB's offense on the way in. Rikovs also now on offense here, trying to clear the assassin away and likely going to go for the pyro as well. Now, TB really using these ninjas to full effect, trying to make some plays on offense and accepting the fact that Citrix offense might get in, assuming that they'll be back in time to clean up the kills and be able to help Chewy out.
So as I was maybe trying to say before, I think now you can't get the ninja steal off. You just need to pressure the pyro a little bit so that the pyro has to respawn, and then yeah, like Bub is doing now, wait in that corridor for the perfect time. In fact, they might do exactly this. Wolfie needs to go for the pyro now, and then Bob needs to wait.
Yeah, this is a well-timed play here.
Oh,
Chewy
nice.
is cleared away, and Bub is going to get the steal here. He is stalled on the way up by Chickdee, though, and that does seem to be the one downside of this style of steal that Citrix is going for. If they try to get out to this top high ground platform on the other side of the flag room here, there always seems to be a Ninja or Chickdee in the way, just knocking the players back and preventing them from really getting out of the flag room. I think they're going to have to find some alternative routing, and it does seem like going out to the top entrance is, or top exit of the flag room is a little more effective here against what TB is trying to do.
Tireless or B2 was able to kill the pyro there, but unfortunately, obviously, no one from TV able to get the steal.
Chewy did get a lot of damage there onto Bub. He's actually quite low already and will go down, but there is a backup here from Yubao. Yubao's going to be going out top. He will take a fair amount of fall damage if he doesn't pass here as Chemist, but he does have a soldier up top as well. I think Yubao's just going to accept that he'll take that fall damage and try to make it out as far as he can. Recovs gets the drop, though, and is able to prevent that opportunity. Yubao definitely getting a good backup steal there, though, and Citrix is certainly threatening against TB here.
A pass would have been good there, but you do have to remember that it is a little harder to pass the flag as Chemist. You can still do it quickly, but it's less of a easy thing to do when you're in like that kind of situation.
Yeah, good steal here from Exedra. He has taken some damage, and Avedis is on him, but he does have support as well. In fact, the medic is waiting up top for him, so this is a 4-man TB group already with a soldier flag holder trying to cross out towards middle. Now, he does drop right into the heart of Citrix, but by dropping there, he actually baits the ninjas out of invis and is able to allow his team to clean them up. However, he's not able to avoid Ring Raider, who's right in position to get the frenzy cleanup, and with a little help from BM5 picking up the rest of TB's offense with headshots, the threat has been neutralized. Very scary moment there for Citrix, though. 4 players getting in like that is just not something you want to allow.
They need an elf. They need to at least try it.
Yeah, neither team really opting for the elf here. Both of them preferring the Chemist look to a certain degree, or other classes here from TB. So Wronger actually is on the Chemist again, so that'll be interesting to see. Kalig taking a lot of damage initially to Avedis and now to Wolfie98. He is still alive somehow, using webs to stay away from the roaming, but he is only on 1 stake, and Avedis is able to take him down. Ringwraither almost caught napping there by Pavlik, but Exedra is going to come in from the back and get another steal out the same route. Again, this routing does make it a little harder for the roaming to cut you off, and Exedra is on 2 stakes here, so Kalig can make it back in time, most likely, to be able to get the heal off. Now, he is able to just get right past the Pyro, just run straight through Citrix. And the Pyro burns Frenzy in the back, having been caught by a web, unfortunately. This is a pretty far steal here from Exedra. Trying to get in front, but only on 1 heart. And I think what Citrix is really going to have to bet on now is a steal from Krizzle. Krizzle is going out down bottom mid, does have some support here, but the Archer is a threat, and there is roaming here from TB as well, trying to get in the way. Ricos has now made it over and death tagged the soldier steal, and in fact, Krizzle will go down just to the damage there. TB roaming able to get back over and clean that up quite nicely, and now TB is in a 2-1 lead with 6 minutes, 40 seconds left. There is no ninja cap option here for Citrix, so they're going to have to cook something up if they want to bring this map level or even get a win.
Krizzle did make it out of the flag with 4 state there, so it was a good job on TV to actually prevent her from getting any further. Because if she did, she would have made that.
If you're looking at chat, apparently Wolfie had her muted, believe it or not.
Wow. Oh no.
That's
not
just,
ideal.
That's tragic.
You see, normally with me it's the other way around. You know, I like mute myself and then realise after 5 minutes. But you know, I guess that can happen as well.
I mean, it's always possible he could be talking about something else, but given the context, yeah, you just really hate to see it. Now, we do have Exedra focused out on mid here by Avedis. Tireless actually roams up and clears the ninja away, but not until Exedra has already burned a couple stake here. Now he's in Valacon's sights as Bub has a steal on the other side. Bub, this time, is likely going to be able to get out, but he's already very low. Taking a lot of damage here, is only on 2 hearts, and will just go down to Pab's damage. There is an open flag right here, but I don't think anyone from Citrix is going to be able to take advantage of that, at least not before it's too late and Chewy is back on the flagpole. So unfortunate scenario there. If they had just one more person alive, you could have seen a very threatening backup steal.
I suppose the reason why TV isn't running the elf is because Sam's not here, right? Because he would normally be taking that elf, and he would definitely be playing it on Lowrise. Oh yeah, sorry, my bad.
Yeah, there is that potential, although if they do like this Chemist look, they could also put Sab on the Chemist. He's known for that class on offense as well. I think this
Also-
might just be due to Ronger's hero pool, though. So, or
Maybe, yeah.
class pool, though, I guess is
It's
the
just
right way to say it.
it's my fault for forgetting that Exedra exists as well. Obviously, he can elf. Yeah, so that's perhaps not what's limiting them. But yeah, like you said, maybe it's Ronger on the Chemist that's causing Exedra to have to be the soldier. But then they do have Pab. So.
Yeah, they do have Pab on his way out here. He's taken a fair bit of damage and does go down to the Assassin, but now Exedra is going to go out this top route again. He is being stalled by Wolfie. Wolfie did get a fair amount of damage off and dropped Exedra to 1 stake here, but support should be on the way. We're going to see Mashiro, also known as Yami, get in the way and stall here a bit. Baguettes is also on Exedra. Exedra on 1.5 hearts, but the medic is right there just in time and gets the restore off. Very clutch timing from Calig, and now Exedra has a much better chance of getting across the map. Budgie's trying to get in the way and stall with webs. The Citrix offense likely rerouting to stop this capture, but Exedra is very far out. So close to getting the recovery there were Citrix, but I think all that damage has just been wasted, and Exedra, barring a miracle steal from Yubao, is going to be able to send us to a map 3 with Citrix winning this particular map by a score of 3-1.
So, some interesting points there. It was pointed out in Spec Chat that they were actually able to get that restore because of Ronger spamming Exedra with heal pots, which is a really good, like, it's probably where Chemist is most useful actually now, like on offense, being able to, support the flag carrier like that. Generally, Chemist is a support.
Yeah. It is a fantastic support class, to say the least, yeah.
And another point would be, clearly, in CX's chat, Wolfie's getting a little tilted. Perhaps, they're not talking. They had the opportunity to beat TB, and they've just kind of thrown it away a little bit. We'll see how it goes in the last map, but, there were times there where CX could have definitely got some extra caps, and it's disappointing that they weren't able to there. Regardless, they're still performing really well, better than we have seen any other teams against TV so far. So props to them there.
Worth noting that the top kill marks for both teams were from their archers. BM5 going 48 and 3, Valcon at 39 and 14. It is worth noting as well, though, that Valcon received significantly more pressure than BM5. At least 200 more hearts of damage, which means a few more pushes from the ninjas to put pressure on him. Additionally, we do see some interesting marks from the Pyros here. Very tough map for Pyro to play. Ringwraither went 8 and 9, whereas Chewy went 14 and 8, so very low kill totals from either Pyro, especially understandable, though, considering that neither has a medic, and both of them are going to be playing against mobility classes in most scenarios. You could definitely say that Chewy got a little more value that game, but even then, the kill total on both sides is kind of difficult to call, especially as the damage totals were also not way too far apart.
So we do see Seago getting subbed in for Hayes. So he will be playing, by the looks of it, soldier bulk defense, and he'll be watching the top of the flag room, to prevent those soldiers from getting in through the trapdoors. Looks like they're running an elf as well.
Fatal Best has logged onto the server for Citrix. The long-time elf player, a person who's known more for his mechanics on elf specifically than for his overall PvP, but could be an X factor potentially.
And he does talk, so perhaps that'll make the difference, because we did hear that CX weren't really talking very much by the looks of things on offense. And who's he been subbed in for? Ubao.
He's been subbed in for Ubao, actually. Swapping out their Chemist Elf player for someone who is honestly just an Elf main at a top competitive level. So interesting decision here. Perhaps there was some sort of lack of coordination with Ubao in particular.
Yeah, and he might be up for comms more than anything. Although we you know he is good at Elf. So and
we are of course speculating on that front, but this game has been pretty exciting so far. So it'll be interesting to see if these swaps do make a difference. Seago in particular is known for his heavy bulk when playing bulk. So perhaps if Citrix goes with a more mobility-focused look here, they'll be able to kite around him and limit his value. Hard to say, though, and there are definitely other strong roaming players on TV's defense. It's why they're such a threat. So it'll be interesting to see how these offenses face off, how they match up against the defenses. And we're right underway here on our third map with TB and Citrix playing to decide the match. Citrix, of course, are down 2 captures here, as well as a map win. If they do win this map, they will need to win by at least 2 captures to tie and 3 captures to win overall. So definitely opportunities here, especially as it's a 5-capture map for Citrix to come back into the game, but still a very difficult task, especially against our tournament first seed, a team that hasn't ever been defeated in a match proper.
We did see Citrix's offense immediately get kind of headshot there by BM5, who's actually playing at mid. Interesting spot. He was like, I think, just inside of headshot range, and you don't really notice him on offense when you're coming from that direction. Like, you're not going to see him waiting there at mid. You'd expect him to be at one of the sides or on top.
Yeah, BM5 actually wins the duel against Falcon there, and this is a position he likes to play whenever possible, playing on mid alongside the water here, as it allows him the ability to use the terrain around him to get some extra survivability. Pavlik is already out towards mid, though, as Falcon was taken down just before the steal happened, is likely not going to be in position. The Assassin is trying to close in on Pab here, but Tree has actually forced him to reroute. Assassin dropping a little too early, though, and now the main threat to Pavlik is Ninja's on the way over and potentially a long-range archer shot. We are going to see the offense reroute here. I believe that was Bub trying to cut Pavlik off, but it's not going to be enough, and already there's a very quick capture there for TB, getting Pavlik in pretty safe.
A very long way out of the flag there. He got propelled like all the way to the doors at the front. So
Baguettes has a steal here. Does get taken down by Tireless and recovered immediately, but with Ninja Caps back on the board, we could see both TB and Citrix up to their regular shenanigans.
Yeah, so CX can no longer win now. If I'm not mistaken, right? They can they can. Never mind.
If they come back and get 5 captures, they will absolutely.
Oh, never mind. It's a 5-cap map. I'm stupid. Ignore me.
So
yeah.
Definitely very tough to come back from for Citrix, though. A statement like that at the start of a map can really swing things, and if Citrix's mental is already in question, well, a capture like that can really just tilt a team. So they're going to have to do some pretty tough work here to come back into this game. TB is not going to give things away for free, unless, of course, we do see Azel coming into control. But I do think they're in a pretty strong position here, and already they've made it most of the way across the map with a pretty nice core here. Unfortunately, Kalig does go down, but Exedra and Ronger are there together, and Pavlik, having taken advantage of the pressure that the rest of the team ate, was able to get in and steal. Now, Ronger's going to go for a backup, but he's already taken a lot of damage here on Chemist, so I don't think he's going to get very far. Kalig might try to come over and support, but I think it's more likely that TB will look for some sort of backup play here, especially with the Ninja. Unfortunately, Tireless not able to get that steal off, and Flaze is going to be out on the other side.
What class was he? I missed. I assume Chemist.
Yeah, he was Chemist, and Fatal did attempt to steal there on Elf as well, but goes down.
Fatal did swap onto Soldier for the last push, and now he's back on Elf, so, you know, maybe they're a little indecisive with what to do. They're trying out different things. Obviously, they're very kind of panicked right now because they do need a lot of caps, so they're going to be trying out a bunch of different things. He is back to Elf now, though. Yeah, good point.
TB is pushing the map in pretty hard here on Citrix. Chickdee roamed up alongside another Ninja player there, Tireless, for the side of the Baguettes, and were able to take a lot of space. Again, Pavlik did get a pretty big boost there from one of Citrix's Ninjas, and BM5, hilariously enough, is also on Citrix's side of the map. Unfortunately, that's not exactly going to control space, and he will go down. Bub does get a steal on the other side, using the ledge here to his advantage. Tireless and Rikovs are up and trying to get in his way. There's a lot of roaming pressure there from the side of TV, but now Baguettes is going to clear Chewy out of the way, potentially look for a steal here. but is not able to make it back over to the flagpole. Already, Seago might look to respawn here. He's quite low. He's looking for a medic. He's looking for a medic for Chewy as well. So TB's roaming here, not in the greatest condition. They do get Calig over to heal them up, though. So just in time for Citrix to cross right back across the map. Now, as Citrix's offense crosses here, I want you to note Chickdee's position. He's stalking the Citrix offense from the top here. Will drop down through the doors in advance of Flays and try to get some damage off. Flays does go for a steal there and aid a lot of pressure. He's actually going to have to try to get the steal himself as his soldier teammate does go down. Chewy cleaning that up quite nicely. And now Ronger has a steal on the other side. Again, as Chemist, again, multiple ninjas in his way, and they are able to take him down. But Ringwraither is only on 4.5 hearts right now, so he is vulnerable to a ninja dropping him. If he does get support here on the flag, I think it might be a good time for him to reset. In fact, he does, yes.
Flays didn't make it out there due to mana. You could hear the sounds of the pots getting thrown. But sadly, no pots ever were thrown.
Always
So
a tragic scenario. Exedra just eats the assassin there, and now is fighting the two ninjas, able to take out both ninjas here. So already doing a fantastic job on heavy offense, but unfortunately, the returning ninja, Yami, is able to take out Pavlik, and now their main capping threat, TB, has been removed, or for TB has been removed. Exedra and Ronger can eat a lot of pressure here on Heavy and Chemist, but they're not going to be great steal threats themselves. They really need Pav to get in cleanly for these steals and bait pressure for him. Exedra is going to get a little bit of a boost here, but the Assassin does clean him up quite nicely. And the thing about Heavy is you can just keep sending players back at it and keep knocking it back. So it's always, especially against defense that mixes bulk and ninja pressure, it's always going to be an uphill battle. And it'll be interesting to see if they swap Exedra to something else that might be a little more of a capping threat.
Both TB ninjas on offense.
Yeah, they tried to clear Ringwraither off of the flag, but Ringwraither actually survives both of them and builds Frenzy off of that fight. So both ninjas now were not in position to stop Citrix from crossing the map. The timing is good from TB. They crossed at the right time to put pressure on, and we're now back in position to try and deal with Citrix's offense. But every time they go for plays like that, it does open a little bit of a window for Citrix to get across the map cleanly.
Right, so yeah, good point from the specs once again is that we're 7 minutes into the map and CX does need 4 caps in order to take the map, but they haven't actually capped yet. So based on this current trajectory, they're not gonna take it. But they could pull something off.
Desperate times do call for desperate measures, and Bub is actually able to bait players away from the flag long enough for Vetus to attempt to steal, but not able to actually pull through. Interesting to see Fatal Best on the Soldier here. You wonder if they really wanted him in on this role, or if they had no one else to really play Soldier that well. It's not something that he's considered to be as strong at as he is on the Elf, so that could be contributing to some of Citrix's offensive roles if he's forced to play a class that he's not quite as comfortable on.
TB constantly sending both of those ninjas up, causing the Pyros to have to respawn. The Pyros respawned on the side of CX, but they're not able to make it back in time.
Yeah, he's actually able to cut Pab off here, but Calig is in position to at least cause some trouble. There's going to be a pass to Tireless. Tireless now crossing the map. His second Pearl there was a little bit of a whiff, but it's not going to matter. That's going to be TB's Ninja Cap, and now they're really starting to put themselves in the lead here. Citrix need all 5 caps to be able to win overall, and with only 11 minutes left, that's going to be a Herculean task for any offense.
Really good point there, noting that B2 has done that twice now. He's been having such a big impact on the Ninja, on offense as well as defense. So props to him there.
Fatal Best there, stealing ahead of Bub and not allowing Bub to get that clean steal is going to be a little bit of a problem there for TB. But seeing him back on the Elf, on the other hand, means that TB will have to prioritize him a little bit more crossing the map. That could open up opportunities for the rest of the offense, and if Best is able to survive, then they could actually just take Chewy out of the game entirely with Water Element on the flagpole. Now we are going to see Avedis here roam for BM5. BM5 already being dropped fairly far, and Avedis is able to get the kill. The middle of the map is now open for Valakon, who's doing a lot of work here onto TB's offense. Kalig is able to get past, but now he's been isolated by the Assassin and the Ninja here. Wolfie98 putting a lot of damage into that medic. And Yami's actually just going to wait on the other side here. Maybe try and prioritize some players around the flag. Speaking of Exeter, he's actually swapped off of that heavy now and is onto a soldier, which is a role that we see him play a little bit more often. It does present an additional capping threat beyond Pavlik, and that can be something that could be a little problematic for Citrix. Pavlik here has made it out of the flag room, but he's quite low, no stake, and doesn't have the pass to a ninja option to get him out of jail here. He will go down, but the amount of time he was able to stall actually baits Citrix's defense away from the flagpole long enough for Ronger to get a big steal here. He's already out towards mid, and although Chemist doesn't deal with Ninja quite as well as it used to, with Tireless supporting in particular, Ronger is going to have a very hard time being stalled here. Wolfie's actually boosted him a bit further, and if he doesn't drop him here, this could be a nightmare scenario for Citrix. That additional bit of range that he got there actually did make a bit of a difference as Ringwraither was starting to close in. So good attempt there from Wolfie, valiant attempt, but may have actually contributed to Ronger getting that cap. Would have been very difficult to stop in the first place, though. Now, with that third cap for TB, I do want to point out, Citrix cannot win this game anymore, but they can play for a tie if they do get all 5 captures.
I think what Wolfie was trying to do there is he was trying to exploit the stairs to actually get the drop on Ronger, because he only has to get like I think 2 or 3 hits off in order for Ronger to take the full damage. It was very close. He was getting a lot of hits off, so I think he was confident that he could drop Ronger, but he did a great job of. Ronger did a good job of not using his damage pots and maintaining his mana to end up not dropping to the ninja. He was able to tank a lot of damage.
Yeah, you can definitely justify the Hail Mary play in that scenario, since even with the Pyro on his way across the map, it would have been pretty difficult to stop Ronger from capping given the lead he already had. So perhaps not a bad play from Wolfie, but definitely a bad situation for Citrix to have been in the first place. Now we are going to see a steal here from Citrix, but just barely doesn't make it out of the flag room there, which is unfortunate since he had Pudgy waiting on the roof. That would have been a very nice play there, and potentially could have gotten Citrix back into the game a little bit, although 1 capture at this point is not going to be nearly enough. Ronger is crossing the map as Tireless and Recovs are camping Pudgy in spawn. That's a lot of damage going into the medic, as Bub, however, is pretty much across the map free. We are going to see a bit of a threat here from Plays on the flag. He does manage to bait the Frenzy out of Chewy, and now Bub is going to get a steal based off of that fact. He does have a lot of ninjas on him, though, and Pavlik is chasing him. Siga will be up top to confront him there at the end exit. He will try to dodge back down low ground and bait Chewy away, bait Siga away, rather, but nothing doing, and unfortunately, what looked like a good attempt there from Citrix turned out to be a little bit too little too late. Bub going down without the support. Apologies if I messed things up a little bit on the commentary there. I am only about 2 hours of sleep right now, but we work with it, and Rekov's worked with Valakon being in the water, getting the kill there, despite the fact that Ninja is at a disadvantage in that position. Chickdee getting a very nice set of cleanup kills there onto the Citrix offense, and now with just 7 minutes left, it's going to be do or die time here for Citrix. They need to start getting captures now. Even if they have to wait even 2 more minutes, really, for their first capture, they just don't have a chance to come back in this game.
Difficult to know whether you let the elf steal first or the soldier steal first on this map. Bob's been doing a great job of rooting when he gets the flag, but the support's been very minimal. TB's been doing a good job of shutting down the support before they're able to get, past mid. So, as the soldier there, despite taking really smart routes, he's not really able to get much further than the grass.
Yeah, it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't scenario, unfortunately, here for Citrix, as Fatal is on a much squishier class, and TB does have very good roaming ninjas, so any steal that Fatal does get on the elf could be chased down pretty quickly. But on the other hand, Bub doesn't have any forward mobility on that soldier kit. So if soldiers get in front of him, if ninjas get in front of him, they're going to be able to stall him and whittle him down over time. It really just comes down to supporting these flag holders a little better for Citrix, I think. Flays is often going in ahead of the rest of the players, trying to bait Frenzy out and bait Pressure out, but that does mean he's not around afterwards to be able to support. Speaking of support, Calig's going to get a very nice restore here onto Exedra. This might just put the game out of reach entirely, and although Valakon gets a headshot here, it's picked up immediately by Calig. Calig could be knocked into the water here, which will allow Vala much better shots. Avedis does manage to knock Calig pretty low, and the assassin just whiffs, unfortunately. But there is a steal on the other side here from Bubflake. Bubflake actually making it out towards mid, so we could reach a little bit of a stalemate here. This is still not a great scenario for Citrix.
That was a really close pass. Exedra passed it off as soldier, and Pudgy was right there as medic. It was way too close for comfort, but somehow they pulled it off. Obviously, they've got the magnet hands that I seem to have last week.
Yeah. The stalemate scenario here isn't great for Citrix, as it will bleed more time off of the clock as they try to recover. But even with that being the case, it is, a scenario where they're not completely lost just yet, simply because quick recovery here onto Exedra could swing things in the other direction if they're ready to capitalize on momentum after winning the stalemate. 4 minutes left, though. It's going to be extremely difficult, even with perfect timing on ninja captures. You'd pretty much have to get a recovery immediately here, and then subsequently get every steal across the map. Again, Citrix do need 5 captures to die.
I'm wondering whether the spot that Bub's in is like headshotable at all. Maybe from front. If you were to hit the archer to the right. As a ninja, you could hit the flag
soldier to the right. Yes,
yeah,
you absolutely hit that shot in mid, and it's a position that can be a little bit difficult to pressure for the ninjas, as it does take a few pearls to get out to that position. So definitely threat. The archer is definitely a threat in that scenario, but on the other side of things as well. This flag holder position here, where Exedra is playing, is vulnerable to the same thing. If a ninja hits him out into the open and the archer is in position, then it can be a very quick kill. Additionally, Vala has multiple angles from the right side and from the left side if he tries to get an archer recovery here, get a headshot. So TB do have to cover most of the map with their roaming to be able to pick up the archer. Now here, Vala unfortunately has walked right into Seago, and even if he's survived that initial confrontation, he's only on 1.5 hearts, and I don't think he's going to get away with this. He definitely has been called out by now. So he might get 1 or 2 shots in towards the flag holder, but Pab's just going to clean him up quite nicely. And only Fatal Bets is really in here to try and get some damage off onto the flag holder. Chu just cleans that up with Frenzy. And it does feel like, well, I was about to say there was no threat to Bub, because TB is making sure their flag holder stays alive, and Citrix are making sure that they're putting pressure on the other side of things, so it's not a free recovery. But Ronger and Chickdee have been able to get across the map, and in fact, Ronger did assassinate... Chickdee, did assassinate one of Bub's supports here. With 2 minutes left, in fairness, I should probably call this for TB. There just isn't enough time to get 5 captures right now, but we could at least see Citrix try to bring things closer here. Captures do also matter for the tiebreaker system here in the CTF League. VM5 has actually made it pretty close, but is now spotted out by the assassin. Could be looking for the headshot here, though, as the roaming isn't on him immediately. Multiple heavies now chasing this archer across the map, but that will allow Recovs and Chickdee a little bit closer here. They're going to take out the assassin now, and Tireless, not Recovs, is going to look for a swap on the flag holder over into the assassinate. Good job there, though, from the chemist roaming out and taking care of the scout before the swap becomes any threat. Chickdee's just going to be chilling here on recovery, now crossing over towards the flag holder. He is, however, swapped away by Wolfie98. And we could just see the game end here in this last minute. I don't think too much crazy stuff will happen, but either team could recover here and get a capture, helping their overall cap score in the season.
CX Recuff just doesn't really seem organised. You know, you can imagine they're tilted. They're not talking very much on offense on Recuff. Yeah, they're sending a lot, but they're quite split up. They're all going different ways, which is allowing the TB Ninja duo to split them up and cut them off individually.
There was a fair bit of damage onto Exedra there for a moment. Valicon was also in position to headshot, but it just didn't come through in time. And Valicon is now going to be pressured out. That's going to be a headshot threat taken care of for the rest of the map. And with 13 seconds left, we've seen a pretty competitive game here between these two teams. But over the last couple of maps, TB really was able to pull out into the lead and win this series. Very good job to them. Valiant effort from Citrix. And we're going to see that the game's MVP is Chewy as we wrap up here.
And who would you say was overall MVP? Honestly, I think B2 did really well.
B2 did fantastic. I think it's also fair to credit Exedra on the offense. In a lot of scenarios, he was generating chances for TB. Pavlik also played a very big role on that offense, but he did also struggle at times, despite his steals and captures. Assuming he got any captures.
I was really impressed by the, pretty constant coordinated passes off to the Ninja when they could, with the premature pals and all of that. And yeah, overall, like B2 was pushing up pretty constantly to the flag, helping to support that TV offense. But I'd be happy to give it to any of the other TV offenders that you suggested as well.
Considering that Ricos and Chickdee were both playing classes that don't roam up quite as much as the Ninja for multiple maps, I do think it's fair to give it to B2 since he was essentially playing a very big role on both offense and defense. Definitely a linchpin of their success, especially on the second and third maps. So I do think that's fair game. Exedra as well should get an honorable mention for his efforts on offense. And if I had to credit one particular player on the Citrix side today, I do think Baguettes was very threatening as a Ninja, both on roaming defense and on offense with some of his steals. In fact, I believe both of Citrix's captures this game were just due entirely to Baguettes. Perhaps not his solo plays, but he contributed significantly to both.
I agree with you there, yeah. Who are we interviewing and what's the deal there? Who's TV going to offer up?
I'm interested to see here as we do have BM5 joining the call with us here.
Yes.
Inferior Ben, congratulations on your victory today. That was a very competitive match, though. So I was curious what you thought about Citrix, especially on that first map. Did they surprise you, or did you feel that was more your team taking a little more time than they would otherwise expect to warm up?
I don't know. Citrix played well, no doubt about it. Especially first map, they had some very big threats in offense, namely Bob, but a lot of good supportive players as well. And although I don't think we played as well as we'd like to on the first map, definitely credit goes to Citrix as well, because they deserve that time first map. And yeah, we kind of got into it after that, and I mean, we were lacking a bit on the Ninja Caps. Partially goes down to the size, I think, because 12v12 you'd have a med D or whatever, and I mean, previously our issues have been with Ninja Caps, and we've had the medic kind of stick on flag a lot more, and I think that really showed today. Our defense was opened up a lot by the Ninjas.
Yeah, it did seem to happen a fair amount on both sides, as Tireless and Ricos were also helping your offense out a fair amount. So
definitely,
it was a very interesting game to watch. I think a very open game for a lot of it. I was curious, though, about your sub in on map 1. You almost immediately got results on Archer recovery, and it did look like a pretty nice team play where your teammates hit the flag holder over into your range. Is that something that TB practices in particular or has done in the past? Is that a particular play of yours?
Yeah, I mean, definitely the plan was if it went to stalemate, I'd sub in for Haze, go Archer, because maybe they wouldn't be expecting it if I wasn't playing a lot of the game. Obviously, Haze better bulk than me, same with Seago, so it didn't make sense for me to play the entire game, especially splitting playtime. But in terms of kind of surprising them, maybe switch up a few things once it got to the stalemate, because obviously at that point the game was closer than we'd have liked it to be. I hoped we'd have been winning by then, but obviously we got the cap from the stalemate, worked pretty quickly. Initially, actually, we didn't have many ninjas on recovery, which is kind of frustrating. I had a couple of opportunities where I was so free in the flag room because they weren't roaming me. But once we started pushing the ninjas up, had one big offensive push, I was there uncontested, and we managed to get it by them pushing them out. So yeah, really good play.
It was great to watch.
Yeah, definitely. And some of the other coordinated plays on maps 2 and 3 as well were
Ninja caps,
definitely
I'm guessing.
crazy. Yeah,
They were glorious.
Yeah, that was beautiful. Who was the first ninja? Yeah, I know B2 got like the ninja part of it. I think it was Pavlik got the pass on map 3. Who got the pass on map 2, if you remember?
I'm pretty sure it might have been Exedra taking the flag up to the top. I would have to double check.
Yeah. I think it was up to the top, and then B2 got the. It was very good. And I'm happy for us to get some ninja passes off. They always look good. Good montage plays, you know. And obviously got us the caps, got us the win in the end. So happy with that.
Yeah, so we did see Rongerbox start today on offense. I was curious, since Sabu did play a very big role on your offense in your previous match against Olympus. Did you feel that, Ronger was in there because he's the player you'd want to start in that scenario? Or was that more due to Sabu's availability?
So the plan initially was Ronger plays 2 out of 3 maps, Sab plays Airlock because Sab is better at PvP. However, Sab said a couple of hours before the game that he couldn't play, so easy sub, just put Ronger in for all 3.
Yeah, definitely a key contributor to the team, I think it's fair to say.
Mhm.
I do want to ask, since you brought up the ninja caps earlier on, did you feel that Avedis's ninja caps were more of a, testament to his particular play, his strength as a player, or was that more perhaps TB's own issues with dealing with ninja caps? Is it somewhere in between? What's the ratio?
Yeah, I think naturally it's a bit of both. Ninja caps have always been our downfall on defense. Apart from that, we have very good kind of roaming and recovery. So if a ninja gets to the flag and Chewy, like obviously in tens, don't defensive medic to help out, so they'll always get occasional steals. I think an issue there for us was we were only running one ninja for the majority of it. That's something we've picked up on. We've really needed double ninja there, even in tens, to intercept the ninja caps. If we're not running a defensive medic, then the ninjas need to be there to kind of cut them off, because it will happen. It's inevitable, and I think that's something we need to change. But obviously, credit goes to Avedis for it. Very good caps, and they got the pass off. They got the communication there. Well played to them.
I remember there was an occasion where Avedis did make it out as ninja, and he chucked his pearl towards his spawn, but before the pearl landed, he passed it off to Flaze, and Rikos was waiting for him where the pearl was landing.
Oh wow, that's a good play. Fair play.
So, yeah, that was good to watch. And
yeah. I'll love to see that back. Actually, that sounds good.
Yeah.
So before you wrap up, you've played 2 games against teams that were pretty hyped up going into the tournament. You've won both of them. But it did feel today like Citrix gave you more of a run for your money than Olympus did, certainly tying the first map, getting captures, unlike Olympus, and so on and so forth. My question to you is, having played both of these teams, which one do you feel is stronger? They're going to be matching up in the not too distant future. So in a potential Olympus versus Citrix matchup, who would you give the edge to?
Damn, putting me on the spot like that. Do you know what week they play? I think maps could become a factor in that, to be honest.
Yes, in fact, they do play next week.
Next week. Okay.
So maps are going to be, with that in mind, if I could just pull them up briefly here so we have some clarity. Maps are going to be Bazaar 1, Rundown, and Harvest 2.
Ooh. Okay, so last week, obviously, Olympus game wasn't particularly close, but I do think that was a case of them underperforming and us perhaps overperforming a bit, because obviously they're a very good team. In my opinion, still second best team, with Citrix, Delta Force, and Annihilation kind of all close behind. Citrix did play very well there. I think on the basis of the maps, Bazaar has been one of Olympus picks in the past. Rundown on Harvest, both good for bulk, and Olympus have some very nice bulk players. I think I would give the edge to Olympus, but I would not be surprised if Citrix pulled something off with their offensive firepower, particularly if they're able to force 10s, because they've got a very strong 10s lineup.
All right, well, we now have BM5's prediction for Olympus versus Citrix. It'll be interesting to see how that holds up and how it maybe squares up compared to some of the weekly recap hosts in our next show. We'll have to see. Definitely congratulations again for the win, and it will be interesting to see you guys next week when we play you.
Yeah, that should be a very good game. I appreciate it, guys. See you later.
See you, Ben.
All right, so I believe that more or less concludes our broadcast. Tom, anything you wanted to end on?
I honestly came in today kind of expecting TB to take it. Maybe that was a little naive of me, you know. TB did take it, sorry, but I was expecting it to be a lot more of a clean slate from TB. And Airlock was definitely an interesting match to watch. And I'll be looking forward to future matchups with CX involved, because they have certainly disrupted things a little here. So there you go.
Yeah, definitely a lot of interesting high skill plays, especially around the ninjas in this game as well. I think the 10v10 format really did contribute to that and made things pretty interesting to watch today. So do hope we can see more matches in this format in the future. I don't know if we'll necessarily see that from TB and Annihilation next week, but time will tell. And with that in mind, we guys hope you've enjoyed this broadcast. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see all of you in the not too distant future as Olympus and Delta Force will be playing their second matches tomorrow. See you then.